Welcome to Broadway Corner with Ashley Haw, where you can listen to your favorite performers talk about their career, how they got started, and everything in between. Make sure to follow me at Broadway Corner with Ashley Haw on Instagram and also my main Broadway account at Broadway_corner for updates on new episodes. Hope you enjoy! Hi everyone, welcome back to Broadway Corner with Ashley Haw. I am so happy you're here. And today, I'm talking to someone who sometimes I absolutely love and sometimes I absolutely can't stand. But we both have Broadway Instagram and TikTok accounts, and we are both pursuing theater in college. And he's my Broadway partner in crime. It is Eli Foodman, the creator and co-host of ZBroadway and eli.bway.
I love that, except for that one part, which I didn't.
It's okay. This is like, we're just chilling here. We're just having fun. So
we've known each other. We're allowed to have fun.
Like, how long has it been? What, like maybe 3 years?
I think well, let's see. The pandemic started 3 years on this month, so it's probably been like 2.5.
Yeah, almost 3 years. 3 years too many. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, we're co-hosts of the podcast ZBroadway. I almost said ZBroadway, but no, it's a different name. And so, for a bit of background on Eli here, Eli Foodman is the creator of ZBroadway and eli.bway. He's going to attend Ithaca College in the fall to pursue a degree in theater arts management. You might know him from his viral Broadway-themed shark videos, and he casts the Muppets in Broadway shows, which I've never seen anyone do that before. So, Eli is all about that unique content, and we're going to talk all about that. So, hi, Eli. How are you doing today?
I'm great. It's 9:19 p.m. right now. I had a long day at school. I had rehearsals or just one rehearsal today. And I got a little homework done because I'm still a high school student, and even though I am committed to college, I still have to be able to graduate.
Yeah, I need to do that too. I mean, honestly, I barely go to school anymore. I have 2 periods off. It's like, why even go at all? No, I don't know. But now we're not here to talk about school, except for college, but we are here to talk about Broadway. So, Eli, when did you discover Broadway? Was it something that, you grew up with? Was it something that came a little later, like for me? What's your story?
Well, I got into theater when I was like 5 or 6. I don't know if I've ever shown you clips of me in the Three Piggy Opera.
I think you sent me a picture. I love that.
I gotta show you the video one time. But that was in 2010. I got into Broadway, all right. My first Broadway show, I saw Phantom of the Opera when I was 7 years old. I'm 18 now, so what is that? 11 years. Not sure I've heard of Broadway before that. But I hated Phantom. And I said, Mom, you need to take me to a Broadway show that I'm actually gonna like. A couple months later, she takes me to School of Rock, which I love. Obviously more age appropriate.
And didn't you almost get cast in it too?
Yeah, I got through a couple rounds of callbacks, but
still impressive, better than what I've done.
But then I kind of realized that Broadway is like a business. And like obviously it wasn't like at that age I wasn't following the Broadway grosses. I wasn't doing that until like right before the pandemic. But I started and I don't know if this was gonna be one of your questions, but I started my Instagram account when I started getting serious about loving theater because I was getting over my Power Rangers obsession, and I'm like, okay, this is too kids like. I need to like find a new obsession, and I researched some Broadway shows and I found some that I loved, and from then on it's kind of history.
Yeah. I mean, we both have such different ways of getting into Broadway. For me, it was just like very kind of in a way recent, and for you it's kind of been a little bit of a lifelong thing, which is also great. I mean, so many people, go and see a show and then you're like, it's that moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to do this, or I really love this. You were like, this is cool, but let's find something else that I'm gonna like even more.
Yeah, I mean, I did sports for a little bit. What did I do? I did soccer. I did hockey for a little bit. And I kind of realized that this is not my thing. And like I still dive like just for fun. I don't do it competitively anymore. But like I like some things. But yeah, no, theater is really like, and dance in general, like kind of right now, I guess, how I cope. And I wouldn't say I guess, like that is definitely how I cope. Like
Yeah.
that is my whole personality.
No, it is mine too. Like honestly, sometimes people are talking about being like having a life outside of theater. And since I've just been, in Bakersfield getting ready to go to college where I'm really gonna like
Exactly.
experience the world, I'm like, I don't really have anything kind of outside of theater
Right, like
now.
exactly. But like
Yeah.
what else do I do besides theater? Like I babysit on the side. I direct show. That's still theater. Yeah, no, you're right.
I think this podcast
Wow, I don't know if
episode,
that's sad or what.
this podcast episode is just telling Eli and me that we need to get other hobbies. I think that's the
I
point
I
of what we're
tried to
really
pick up
trying to
something
do.
during the pandemic, but it turned into ZBroadway.
I know, right? And also, a little announcement. If you hear me coughing during this interview, it means that I am recovering from a thing called valley fever, which led to pneumonia.
Yes, but she promised me that she would go on mute during her coughing, so you should not be able to hear that.
I'll try my best, but if I'm talking and then it's a cough attack, I can't really do anything about that. Okay.
It's okay.
Anyway, I think we both created like our little social media platforms for similar reasons. So, like you already talked about this a little bit, but when did eli.bway start and how did you kind of find the kind of content that you wanted to put out and kind of refine that into what you really wanted to share with other people?
Um, I was thinking before this recording, I'm like, what are the kinds of questions she could ask? And I knew you were gonna ask like when did Eli start? And I was trying to think, and I couldn't tell you how many. Actually, now that I think about it, I remember my very first post, and I'm not sure if it's still up there or not. It was a picture of me in Oliver during 7th grade. I'm now in 12th grade. Oh my God, she coughed and she went on mute. um, but I was doing Oliver in 7th grade. That was my first post. I'm in 12th grade now, so 5 years. Wow, it feels like it's been longer.
I think
Huh.
it's been 4 years for
Um,
me. Or no, almost 5 years.
I didn't I didn't start like originally I started reposting other like official Broadway shows, social media stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what to do. Like at that point, it was kind of just like for me to express my start of loving theater. Now it's kind of more me just being me. Um,
Yeah.
and like I mean, I know we'll talk about the sharks and all that, like, but like that's yeah. Uh, but I still don't have that big of a following, which sometimes it does bother me, but other times I get like right now I think I have about 1,500 followers, and sometimes I'll get like 350 likes on something, but some of the comments are like these like Stephanie J. Block or who else has commented on my stuff
Max
like Patty
Plain.
Murin or exactly like if I get like a verified creator's comment on something, then like I'm proud enough. Or if I'm just like if I'm making people happy, then I'm proud enough. Because like that was a thing with ZBroadway. I did it to make people happy during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. And I think we really did do that. I mean, like whenever you see people just talking to these Broadway or tour people and asking their personal questions, it's something that is not always the most accessible to people. Either you have to pay or go see a show to even meet them. And it's like when you were able to kind of give that experience, but from your own home. It's something really unique, and I'm so happy for like what we did. And in a way, I wish we could have like kept it going, but as we
It
all got back to our own lives, we kind of realized, we got to do something else because
right. It makes me sad that we had to stop the Q&As because that really made people's quarantines. Unfortunately, there was just like it was too repetitive.
mm-hmm.
And we tried doing like workshops and stuff, but people like there was no interest. And like I mean, we don't have much of a following. We never have. it must be like some curse on me, like my account doesn't get that many followers. But like we made a whole bunch of people happy, and like again, that's like that was the goal. I accomplished the goal. We're still doing it in a podcast form, and like honestly, I can't lie, like part of it was for me to start making connections.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I still like we're both of us are still in touch with Josh Daniel, and I'm still in touch with Rob Horn, the very first person who I had a guest, who I had on as a guest before I started ZBroadway. I just did it on eli.bway. But like, yeah, it's a great way to get in the business, just having those kinds of connections.
Yes, yes. No, I can't like stress to people like how much how much fun it is, first of all, for us, because
Yeah.
like when we're making connections and doing these things for, we both want to be in this business legitimately as our careers. And when you're talking to these people about what they're doing, what their jobs are, and they get to know you as well, it's networking, but it's just for fun. It's not like you're trying to get anything in return. It's just making a personal connection with someone and being interested in what they have to say about either being in a show or being just about their own journey in general. It's
Yeah, I mean,
fun.
I like this goes to anybody in any field. Like it's not that we're making a connection with somebody, we're making connections with people in the business that we want to be in. So yeah.
I mean, Julie Benko, Conrad Ricamora, all these people
Mhm.
that, Conrad's gonna be in Here Lies Love. I'm probably gonna try and see that, but just so many different things that you can do. And the thing is these people are accessible through social media. And that's one of the greatest things about social media, is that you're able to reach people that you would not have been able to if you were trying to just meet them in person. Because like, we're so disconnected, but now we're connected through here. It's so crazy to think about. But yeah, we're just trying to use all of our social media and social platforms for good, and hopefully we don't spend too much time on them, because I think I do, and I need to
I
dial it
mean,
back, but it's okay.
I do. I just I try to not focus on the negatives of social media. Like if I'm like, when is the last time I've been cyberbullied because I'm a theater fan? Like, have you seen my account? Like, that's all I post. Like, that's what it was made for. Like, I'm simply allowed to just block you and just block it out of my head.
Yeah, I know, of course. It's just like, bye bye. But okay, so Eli, when did you start ZBroadway? Because I'm technically like co-host now, and what used to be kind of like I don't know,
Well,
my
the whole origin story is
I'm like, because
like, do you
I was
have
not
time
there.
for this?
I
Um,
Maybe, I don't know, I
yeah.
was not there at the origin story.
I started. Oh, I started doing quarantine takeovers. It wasn't me. I was reaching out to these actors. Um, and I said to these people, and I started out with my voice teacher at the time, who was, he doesn't have a big following, but he has some Broadway stuff. He's gonna be Merrily We Roll Along soon.
Yeah, yes. With
And
our friend Evan Alexander Smith, who was
yeah.
also in that production.
So I reached out to some people, and I'm like, hey, do you mind doing a takeover on my account? I know you're not in a show right now, but it would be great if you signed on and just answered some questions. And then I remember reaching out to Tarek Frimpong, who at the time was this big TikTok person. He was in the movie Mary Poppins Returns, and he made all these TikToks about it, and he was viral. And so I emailed him, and I'm like, hey, can we do this takeover? And I don't remember what the conflict was. Maybe it just like didn't work out or something, and or he couldn't log in or something like that. So I email him back, and I'm like, Zoom is starting to become a big platform. I have an idea. Let's do this Q&A on Zoom. And
Yeah.
he's like, I'm all in.
Yeah.
And I think I advertised it. We found a day. I advertised it. I think I got about 40 participants. And this was like overwhelming for me because at the time I had 10 signups, but I publicly posted on my Instagram. I'm like, okay, here's the Zoom info. And people just kept coming on. And I'm like, this is amazing. And right after, I'm like, okay, I can like do something with this. So
Yeah.
I reached out to more people. I reached out to Rob Horn, who I did a Q&A with him a couple weeks later, and only 4 people showed up to that one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that one was still pretty cool for me, and like he is still the number one guy that I talk to, besides maybe Josh. But I have somebody, this girl's name is Maya, and she reaches out to me after the Tarek one, and she's like, hey, this is so cool what you did. I would love to be a part of this. And I'm like, well, you're in luck because I was already going to look for somebody and I want to make a new account out of this.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And Eli
so
we did not know of each other at this
no, we had no idea who each other was. I don't know if I was following you at that point or what.
I
Um,
don't know. I don't
but
think so.
I don't remember what our first Q&A was. It might have been the Mean Girls one. It might have been something else. The Mean Girls one is the first time we met.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, we got Mariah Rose Faith, who was the original Regina George on tour, and she's also known for Star Kid.
Yeah.
And she brought in a whole bunch of people. I think that one we had like 50 signups.
It's a lot of people.
We had a lot of people. And from there, that's ZBroadway. And then eventually, you came into the picture, and
I remember I started
we
guest hosting
just
at first.
yeah, and from there it kind of just evolved, and here we are now.
I know, almost 3 years later, we're
Mm-hmm.
still doing the thing, kind of. We morphed it a little bit, but you know, we're still trying to make people happy with the content that we put out and giving some value and just happiness to people's lives and every day.
Yeah.
And also now it's more portable because you can listen to it on the go.
Right. So
Every
the whole point of it at the start was the Q&As would be totally free. If our guests were asking for a charge, I would see what I could do. Like I know Mariah asked for like $50. I was able to pull that out of my bank account, and so the Q&A was able to remain free, and yeah, that's that.
Yeah. And then after that, I think, as that evolved a bit, and then we kept evolving with our own accounts too, and then you reached more than 10,000. I think you have 11,000 followers on TikTok, and then I have now 13,000 followers on Instagram, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to keep it that way too. But since, now that we have these little mini platforms, I wouldn't say they're like giant or anything, but there are platforms that we use to put out content. And we get invited to stuff sometimes, or we make friends who want to invite you to something or go with you to something. So what is the coolest thing you've been able to attend or do as a Broadway influencer?
The thing is, I don't have a big following at all. A couple months back, somebody DM'd me on TikTok saying, hey, I'm like somebody at the Green Room 42. I love your content. If you ever want free tickets to one of the cabarets, just reach out to me. What else? I made friends with Dan Coleman on TikTok. He invited me to Sesame Street off Broadway. It was a free ticket, thank God. Other than that, I'm not sure. Like anything that you've had to reject because you're not on the East Coast, you've just sent to me.
I know. There have been a few instances that I have had to do that. I'm like, I obviously can't go. Do you want to go?
Right. And I've turned down all of them because I've been busy, unfortunately. But
yeah, Eli's the king of being busy.
see my calendar. But I don't have a big enough following to be invited to things myself.
Well, hopefully that'll change very soon because, after we go to college for 4 years and you're in Ithaca for 4 years, um hopefully you can finally move to the city and we can be like making all the New York Manhattan
We'll work together.
maybe we can work for Playbill or something. I don't know. And since you did get your following through kind of mostly your shark, like a lot through your shark videos, I think, because that was just an original idea. Like, where did that come from? Like, what are their names again? I wrote down Boris and Bart. I don't remember if that's right or not.
Bert, as in Bert and Mary Poppins. Boris and Bert.
I was right with the first one.
This was like 2 weeks into the pandemic. And I first downloaded TikTok for the first time. And one of the first videos that came up was these 2 inflatable shark costumes that were going around in public. And I'm like, Mom, I think we need some inflatable shark costumes. This was like 2 weeks into quarantine. And I was very surprised that she said yes, because we have some neighbors who are obviously older now. At the time, I think they were like 4 and 6. And they just like, imagine being that age in the quarantine. Yeah, so like we wanted to make people happy. Oh my God, that's the theme for this podcast.
Yeah. Other than we have to get new hobbies. We have to get new hobbies and we want to make people happy. Exactly. So maybe we can do it too. I don't know.
So we bought 2 inflatable shark costumes off of Amazon. I think it was like $20 each. Now because of inflation, I told you yesterday, Ashley, like one of the sharks swam away, can't find it, and the cheapest I can find is for like $40.
Oh my God.
For a replacement. So I don't think that's
we gotta find it.
Yeah. So the first thing we did was we went to our neighbors and we're like, we're sharks now. We were like one of those Disney World characters where we were in inflatable shark costumes, and we just did not talk. And we kind of just like waved our arms around and like did fun things. And then I'm like, okay, how can I make TikToks out of this? Because like at the time I had just gotten TikTok. And we started making the shark videos. I don't remember the first one that I did.
I think it was the Phantom one or the Aladdin one.
No, it's not.
Aladdin?
No.
Oh.
There was like some Dear Evan Hansen one. There was
I think you showed me that one.
that was a long time ago. There was something before that. Oh my God. West Side Story. Oh, that was it. That was the first one.
I think I did see that one a long time ago. I can't remember, but
I'll send it to you after this.
We'll have to include it in the carousel post. It'll be one of maybe.
That was the first shark video. Mm-hmm. And we just found it, my mom and we found it so hilarious, and we kind of just kept making them. And then we made the Phantom of the Opera one, and that one went viral. Yeah. And then I reposted it about when did Phantom announce their closing? September. I reposted it again in September, and I got a big following for it. At least on Instagram. I got viral on TikTok for, it might have been the same video. I don't know. But yeah, it was Phantom of the Opera that got me a big following. Yeah.
Wasn't that Ollie's debut too?
It was. For those listeners who don't know, Ollie is my dog. He's a Cavachon. He's part King Charles Spaniel, part Bichon. He's really cute. And yeah, I know. And right now he's downstairs watching some TV.
The life of an actor. The life of a dog actor. Mm-hmm. Watch MTV. Sometimes you're in a video.
He doesn't even know he's viral. Like, he doesn't speak English. He understands sit or paw.
My dog Hammy doesn't even understand that.
Right. He doesn't understand. You're viral.
You're like, people all over the world are like, oh my gosh, this dog is iconic. I love you. And then he's
he got a lot of attention. Like it wasn't even the sharks video at that point. It was the dogs, and all he was doing was laying on top of the bathtub.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the life of Ollie. I mean, it seems like a very comfortable life, not one filled with much stress. And for you, Eli, like, what is your favorite part about meeting other theater lovers, whether it be at BroadwayCon or just over Zoom? I mean, I know you got recognized a few times at BroadwayCon. You were telling me.
Did.
That's always
that was
cool.
really embarrassing because I was so caught off guard. Like people are like, "Hey, Eli, I love your content." I'm like, "Thank you." Oh yeah, I have some followers.
Like, oh yeah, forgot about that.
My favorite part about it is just like finding other people in common. Like at least at my school, like we do have a good theater department, but we are mainly known for sports. And people aren't as passionate about theater as much as me, and like I'm the one that knows everything. Like
I'm that person too at my school. Oh my gosh.
exactly.
But no one
So
wants to know. No one wants to know.
right, exactly. A lot of people just like don't care. So my favorite thing is kind of just finding people that do care and finding my people through social media.
No, something great is like through K-pop, I met these people. Shout out to Hannah and Aaliyah if you're watching. But like they have like the absolute best energy, but like they're probably like the same amount of fan as I am, and I don't think there's anyone else out there like it. And I'm
No.
like, I want to like meet you so bad and just hang out and like sing all the songs and but have a shared interest over something, because when you're a Broadway fan, it can be a little bit lonely when you live in a place where it's not really as much of a thing. Or it's weird when you know so much, almost too much, where people are just confused or it's like a little bit awkward. But when you find those people that are like you, kind of like me and Eli, where I can mention like something about Little Shop off Broadway, and most of the time he'll know what I'm talking about, or I can mention like anything about any current show if there's any news, and he'll know about it, whether like I mean, like I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was saying how he was gonna go to like New York in I think June, like after we graduate and stuff, and how he wants to see like shows like Phantom. I was like, sorry to break it to you, but
good luck.
I'm like, you gotta do research before you plan something like that, or at least double check. Sorry, cough attack. But it's just fun when you find people that are like you, right?
Right.
Yeah. And do you have a favorite show? I mean, that's like an impossible question, or just like
everybody asks that. Everybody's like, "Oh, how many Broadway shows have you seen?" 60 something at this point. Oh, what's your favorite? I don't have an answer. Like, let me just like look through all the shows that I've seen, and I'll name a few favorites.
I mean, I know you love Beetlejuice. That's a big one.
Well, the one that I've seen the most is Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's my favorite. I love it. Over time, I've seen it 6 times. Like it's gotten pretty stale. I love it for a personal reason. I love Hadestown. I love Into the Woods. I've been a long time Into the Woods fan. Like before this current Broadway revival, I've worked on multiple productions of it. So it's kind of like always had a soft spot in my heart. I love Waitress. Miss it every single day. Some new favorites of mine are MJ. Some Like It Hot. Freaking love that show.
Yes. That was very fun.
Jagged Little Pill. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like a solid list.
Yeah, of course. No, I mean, for me now, I'm like K-pop. Just always and forever. I mean, Eli's not into K-pop, but
no, sorry.
I'll keep trying. No, I'm just kidding. But like, do you have a favorite thing to do in the city that doesn't include Broadway or theater at all?
No.
I was expecting.
I don't like the last time I've been in the city and not done a Broadway thing was for my cousin's wedding.
Mm.
Wow, that's really sad.
Eli, we gotta after this, Eli and I are gonna go to, therapy, really rethink a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, for me it's mostly like food stuff. I don't know. The Broadway is kind of the main attraction in the city, I will say. Do you have a dream show to work on? I mean, you've worked on like a lot of shows just for like in your community. I know.
Oh, I also love Kinky Boots. Sorry, it just showed up on my lock screen. I have a rotating lock screen thing, so yeah. Let's see. Dream show to work on.
As your theater arts management self.
I don't know, because the thing about theater arts management, it's not stage management. Like I'm not working in the shows. Like theater management, I'm working in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
To God, I've done all them. Like I've done Something Rotten. I've done The Play That Goes Wrong. I'm a huge slapstick fan. I can't think of any off the top of my head because I have such a big Oh, you know what? I'm looking at your background right now, your Playboy background right now, and I'm seeing SpongeBob.
Oh.
I don't care who I am. I would happily take a random like sea urchin. Or
That was so bad. Like you
yeah,
have no idea.
yeah, SpongeBob is my answer.
Well, I mean, you got tap lessons from Gavin.
Exactly. And
I
like
mean, you're ready. You're
I
ready.
love any show where there's tap. And right now I'm in Mary Poppins and we've been doing Step in Time for like the last week. We're still not done with it. We're getting really close. But like it's been fun like going into rehearsal and tapping every day. And yeah, no,
Need to
I'm
learn
a
how to
huge
tap
tap
dance.
fan.
I do not know how to tap dance. That is something I'm hoping to learn when I go to musical theater school.
You should learn from me.
Oh yeah. I'll go ahead. No,
Just
you
call
come.
me up. I'll just teach you
I
some
was like,
stuff.
I almost said I'm gonna go to Ithaca. I'm like, nope, not going to. You're coming to Manhattan. If I go to into a school in Manhattan. And since like you're a performer too, like you're not just a theater fan, same with me. You perform, you've been in a lot of shows. Like you said, you're doing Mary Poppins. You were in The Play That Goes Wrong as the dead guy. I forgot his name. And I mean you've done a lot of roles. And even when you were little, you were what, Sebastian in The Little Mermaid. I remember seeing that video.
I was.
Like
That was a fun role.
did you consider going to school for musical theater, like at all?
Oh yeah, absolutely. When I started looking into colleges, I originally wanted to do elementary education, because I wanted to get out of the theater world. And then I realized, no, I like being on the stage.
Yeah.
And then I realized musical theater is really competitive. So then I was looking at some schools and I found DePaul and I found Ithaca, which both have theater arts management. And I'm like, this is for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a friend who goes to Ithaca, not Zoe, but she loves it. So I toured it. She toured me. And then I met Zoe, and I haven't met her in person yet, but yeah, no, it seemed like the perfect place for me. So yeah, I considered musical theater. Eventually, I kind of figured out that I've done so many shows. It's kind of time for me to get off the stage.
And I've done so little shows, so hopefully it's time for me to get on the stage. I mean, right. Hoping.
Yeah. So it went from teaching to musical theater to theater management, and it kind of just seems like the right thing for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you're attending Ithaca, which if you're in like, if you know anything about like arts colleges, like Ithaca is one of the absolute best places to go.
It is one of the top theater schools in the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. especially for performing arts and for, dance and all, everything that comes with that. And I wish that we could have had the option of going to school together, but rejection happens. I did not get into Ithaca for musical theater because, like Eli said, it is so competitive. And so we'll have to carry that dream in another lifetime where we get to go to school. Yeah. So Eli, what was the experience of choosing your major? Because, there's a lot of different things. There's like theater studies, theater arts management. You could have done like, I don't know, stage management if you even wanted to, but there's so many different choices other than being a performer in the arts. Like, how did you kind of narrow it down to what you really wanted?
I've never really had an interest in stage management. It just seems too stressful. I've done it for children's theater productions lately, and it's been a really fun time, but doing it professionally seems like a lot of work that I don't want to deal with. Theater studies, don't think I ever I think it was just like the study of theater, which what are you gonna do with that after you graduate? Musical theater, I explained, I just like I've done my share of being on stage. Then theater management. Oh, and I said this in my Common App essay and like any other supplemental essay. I like to be a leader. I kind of like taking charge. So it kind of seemed like a business major or a management major seemed right for me. Mix that with theater. There you go. I mean, I've loved studying the Broadway grosses over the last couple years, and like seeing all the marketing and kind of like visualizing a pattern for myself of like how shows do in the long run.
Yeah, just analyzing it really.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's the
I love
word
to
I'm
do that.
looking
I love
for.
to do that too. Yeah.
And it I wouldn't say it turned into a passion project for me, but it's always just like interests me. So then when I was looking at schools, like I said before, I was looking at Ithaca and I'm like, this is kind of perfect for me. And I looked at the year by year. The first year is learning like how to run the house, like run the ticketing site and like customer service. And I'm a people person. So like I love working customer service, that kind of stuff. And the second year is marketing, and I love marketing. I've always over the pandemic I've loved marketing for ZBroadway and like playing with Canva and doing all that. Yeah, exactly. I don't remember what the other 2 years are, but overall, just seems like it seemed like the major was built for me.
And yeah.
I guess that's kind of it. And I'm really excited to start.
Yeah. The anticipation, the senioritis,
Exactly.
everything's kicking in right now.
Yeah.
And for someone who is listening who maybe didn't know that arts management was an option, like what goes into applying for the major? And just what was your like interview process like? Just kind of encapsulate a little bit your college application process for it.
Well, I applied early decision for Ithaca, and for any younger, not looking at colleges yet, that basically means if you apply for a school early decision and you get into that school, it gives you a higher advantage. But if you get in, that's where you have to go. Unless you cannot financially afford it, if you pull back, they will contact other colleges and they will say, do not accept the student.
It's a big deal.
But so if you apply early decision, that means like you found a school that you really want to go to. So I applied early decision for Ithaca. And the process, Common App application, like every other school. There were a couple supplementals basically saying like, why do you want to do theater management? I kind of just said like, I like to lead. And there was an interview with two amazing people that I cannot wait to meet in person. One is an Ithaca alum who's now a professor. The other is one of the heads of the theater department there. Other than that, I did my application. I scheduled I passed. There is like a pre-screen for theater management, but you don't have to like record anything. Oh, you know what? There was there was a video. I totally forgot about that. There was a video, and I worked with one of my friends who edits videos and stuff to do that.
And then you
I
have like a
submitted that.
portfolio, right?
Portfolio is no longer required.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's no worry anymore. So I submitted that. Literally, I kid you not, a couple hours later, they say, you are an interesting person. They email me back. They're like, you're interesting, interview for us. So that is basically pre-screens.
Yeah.
I schedule my interview. I think it's from like 4 weeks from that point. And I got my letter 4 days after the interview.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was talking about theater the entire time, and I was kind of just like speaking my heart, and I talked all about ZBroadway, which everybody finds so impressive. They accepted me 4 days later. I was really happy, and here we are. I mean, here we are still in Connecticut. Like I'm going to, I go up and it's March, August. So what is that? 5 months? It's almost April now. So.
I know, and you've been riding the wave of accepted student. I'm just having a direction of where you want to go and really where you're gonna go. Because for me, I have acceptances now, which is great, but I still don't know like where the heck I'm gonna go.
Right, exactly. And I would say like if there's multiple colleges that you love, don't apply early decision. You can apply early action for all you want. It still gives you a little bit of an advantage. But yeah, I think I kind of just lucked out. Also, they only accept 6 theater arts management majors per year.
Oh.
Now, I bet the number is low because not many people apply. That being said, you don't know how many people could have applied. 15 could have applied this year, and I was one of 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, so who knows what it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to be very happy about and I'm so proud of you. I remember when you texted me, you're like, I got into Ithaca, and I saw it, I was like, yay! And then I texted you when I did my early decision stuff. I was like, guess who didn't get into early decision school? But you know what? It's okay. We take the rejection and then you use it to go somewhere else. And
exactly.
I mean, I got into a school in where Eli is, Connecticut. I don't know how far that is from you, but it's in Connecticut.
What school?
The Hart School, Hartford. So I don't know how far that
So
is.
like an hour and a half.
No, it's in Connecticut. I don't know geography.
So I look, if it makes you feel better, I know somebody who applied to 13 schools, just got her last decision yesterday, got into none of them for musical theater.
Oh my God.
So now she's thinking of taking gap year, starting over.
Yeah.
Or just, I don't know. There's a few schools at this point that you can still apply for, but they're like still not top tier. So yeah, just be happy that you got into some.
I know. I'm so thankful. I mean, musical theater, like first and foremost, is insane. I'm like half the time I'm like, well, am I really gonna do this? And then I'm like, okay, yeah, you really like this. Okay, keep going.
Okay.
But it's going through the college audition process. It's not for the weak. It's not for someone who likes theater a little bit. It's for if you love it and you really, really want to do it. And same thing for going for theater arts management. I mean, you have to really love it and show that to just get accepted or, you know, want to pursue that major because it is such a specific thing that you do want to do.
It's very specific. And I read the description and I'm like, I mean, I said this before, like it seems like that major was built for me.
Yeah, I know. I mean, with everything you've done with Eli.bway, Eli.bway.
I would say it's more ZBroadway because that is a business or an organization that I created. I mean, from the start, I was basically doing everything.
Yeah. I helped
you out. You came in and ruined it. I'm kidding. That was a joke. I swear. No, but yeah, no, I started off basically doing everything, and I was really proud of myself for it. I gained a following enough for me to be happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
I mean,
I think
when we were working together on ZBroadway, like for a lot. I mean, you even with the podcast, you took care of setting up the entire thing. For the most part, I did not know how any of it worked until I began my own podcast. And then I was like, okay, this is what Anchor or Spotify for podcasters, whatever it's called now. And then I realized, okay, this is what Eli's been doing this whole time. Well, I just send the audio links to him to
I
be
mean,
put out. It takes work. It's not something that was ever easy. Z Broadway took up so much of our time having to message people, get messages back, trying to find a time. It's
oh my
always
God.
so
I still have
complicated.
such vivid memories of me stressing out because I would not because like at the start we would promise people that we would do a Q&A every 2 weeks. So twice a month.
Yeah.
And there were times where I was messaging people and people would just like not reply. And there were points where I would have 0 guests. And I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do? But no, all turned out well. Like we came up with plans like those game shows that we used to do.
Yeah, that was
Um
fun.
uh like those were fun and it always came together.
Yeah. When it's Eli and Ashley, we always figure it out. Yeah. And just a fun question. Do you have any cast recordings that are on repeat right now?
And Juliet, Broadway. I
I
don't
have not I have not listened to it because I do want to see the show first.
Yeah, you should.
No.
You're in town because I'm in it.
You're in that too? How many shows has Eli been in this year? I don't know. I have been in 0.
Oh, Shrek.
Oh my God, I
Shrek
love
is on repeat right now.
No, actually, it's a funny thing because before I was into Broadway, I liked Shrek the musical. Like before I became a theater nerd, I would watch it on Netflix with my sibling Ben, and like that was our thing. Is like
Yeah.
we would just watch that over and over again. Shrek was iconic. We need a revival. I mean,
Other than that, no other Broadway. Like I created, let's see, how long is this playlist? I created a 14-hour playlist that's no Broadway. It's just like it's like Olivia Rodrigo, it's a lot of ABBA and let's see, Sarah Bareilles is on there, Train, like music that I like that's not Broadway. And that is what I've been jamming out to in the car because I'm like, okay, I'm this musical theater phase. I'm not saying it's done, but sometimes it's just I've gotta relax and I have to like listen to some other stuff.
that's what I need to do too. I mean, people are all over like Taylor Swift and
I'll
stuff. I have
here.
no idea. Like the only
Yeah, no, I'm
thing that I currently listen to is like a ton of K-pop, mostly like Blackpink, Miss A, FX, all the ones that are like adjacent to the show Broadway show K-pop.
I am I'm sending you this playlist.
Because like we said, Ashley and Eli need to have other things that don't have to do with Broadway or theater because we need to be a little bit more well-rounded individuals sometimes. But when you have a passion and you stick to it, it's fun. And so it's not something bad, it's just something that doesn't need to take over our entire lives.
Yeah.
But
I sent you that playlist. Anyways, I mean, we've been talking about this for what, the last 45 minutes? My Instagram account is eli.bway. If you need a good non-musical theater playlist, DM me. I have it. It's on Spotify. So if you don't have Spotify, why don't you have Spotify?
Maybe they're an Apple
yeah.
Music person. Who knows?
Why would you be an Apple Music person? That's stupid. Continue listening to this podcast, but
my dad's gonna be listening. I think he listens to Apple. Well, because we have Spotify too, but he uses Apple Music. Okay, last question.
Well, fine. You have Spotify.
Last question. What is your advice for those who want to start posting theater content but are afraid to?
Have fun with it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. you will be judged. Like if you're on a public account, like that's what people are gonna do. And sometimes you kind of just like have to suck it up. And I mentioned this way earlier. Like if people are being mean, they're like on every social media account, you can block somebody easily.
Yeah.
And like I've done that before, and like whatever, it doesn't
Yeah.
take any time or effort. Like it is social media. Like people are going to be judgmental, but the main thing is like for you to have fun. Like I've had so much fun doing all my shark videos and doing all my Muppet castings and all that.
And all your like all
Um,
when you talk about sing shows too, like in your reviews and stuff, like that's super fun too.
exactly. Yeah. And sometimes the shows that I see are controversial. And you know, look, if a show is on Broadway, I'm pretty much bound to see it.
Until you
So
really
I would say like just have fun with it, and
no fear.
that's it. Have fun. I
I mean,
have fun. You can too.
yeah, we try. At least I try to have fun. When I have content, then it's fun. When I'm trying to think of things to post, then it's not so fun. But you know,
Exactly.
you have to
Yep.
find
You're out of ideas.
you have to find the joy in everything. Yeah, and that's a great way to wrap it up. Thank you so much to everyone listening to Broadway Corner with Ashley Haw and our guest Eli at
Shucks.
eli.bway on Instagram and TikTok. And make sure, oh my gosh, and I mean this is kind of Muppet adjacent in, if I'm being honest, it's Eli as a cow as kind of your own Muppet. I don't know, whatever
So yeah, so for those who don't know, there is a new Zoom feature. I don't know how new this is actually. Where you can basically like have filters. Not the filters. Like you can do like avatars. So right now, I am a cow in a sweatshirt, and it's pretty freaking sick.
Yeah.
I am surprised that I have not done this all podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but thanks for listening. Please follow Broadway_corner and Broadway Corner with Ashley Haw on Instagram, and we'll see you next
Me
time.
too.
And Eli too. Make sure to follow Eli too. Yeah.
Bye.
You've been listening to Broadway Corner with Ashley Haw. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time.